Is the police spying on teachers belonging to an activist organization? I'm Ruth Cabal. This is On the Record.
We are teachers!
Method that scared these people actually itong method nila yung
So, anong pagtingin sa amin ng Pangulo? Kaaway pa kami ng gobyerno?
relief overloading. Stop. Definitely.
Joining us in this episode, PNP spokesperson, Chief Superintendent Bong Durana, and Alliance of Concerned Teachers Secretary General Benji Valbuena. Welcome to On the Record, sirs. So we're talking about the alleged memo of the PNP on the profiling daw or inventory or monitoring of teachers affiliated or aligned with ACT. Benji, ano ba yung unang-unang nakita nyo na nakarating sa inyo na reports? Can you tell us about it first?
Nag-start yan last week, nung January 3. Wednesday yata yun. May mga umiikot na civilian. Hindi naka-uniform eh. May dala na silang inventory o yung form. No? Hinahanap nila yung principal. Pag wala yung principal, hahanapin nila yung faculty club president. No? Yung isang faculty club president namin, ayaw naman iwan ng police officer yung form. Ginawa niya, kinuha niya ng picture, no? At yun nga, kumalat na i-print namin. Tapos sunod-sunod na, no? Mula doon sa Silvio Apos Elementary School, nasundan na nung Bansenya High School, Calderon Elementary, nagtuloy-tuloy na siya hanggang sa sumunod na mga araw.
Ang minimension nyo, may mga lugar na napuntahan na, like in Metro Manila, in Bulacan, and then you have in Bicol, in Cebu. Tama ba itong mga areas na ito? Ano daw ang hinihingi? Tinatanong yung pangalan ng teachers? Or exactly what are the police asking for?
Kung makakaharap nila yung mga yung school principal, school heads, tinatanong nila yung mga pangalan. Kung hindi, yun nga, yung faculty club president. Pero, ano naman pag walang maibigay sa kanila, umalis naman sila kaagad.
Is this the first time you encounter this, and what do you make of this?
Ay, oo, 1982 pa ako. Sa founding member ako ng Alliance of Concerned Teachers since 1982. Ngayon lang namin ito naranasan.
Anong tingin niyo dito?
Sinasabi nga ni General Albealde, no, na may Executive Order 70, kaugnay daw ito ng counterinsurgency program ni Presidente, pero kami naalarma talaga kami dyan. Kasi alam naman natin na sitwasyon ngayon, sa war on drugs, ang daming, kahit hindi adik, kahit hindi puser, nadamay. Tapos laganap din ng extrajudicial killings. Nakaka-alarma naman na pati kami dun sa mga unionista, may ganitong klaseng ginagawa ang Philippine National Police.
Okay. So, tanungin naman natin si Superintendent Durana, ano ba talaga itong sinasabing memo na ito? Is there such a memo? Dahil may nakuha rin kaming kopya pero on the part of the PNP.
Definitely, the way they conducted it, the fact na nagkaroon ng unnecessary alarm sa ating mga guro ay mali, no? But the fact that they're seeking this information from the schools, it's an exercise of the state function of the Philippine National Police, an institution within our state, to exercise its mandate of serving and protecting the people, no? Especially against the enemies of the state, such as the CPP and PA, and its allies and front organization. Hindi po kami nagsabi na ang ACT, KMU, KMP, Gabriela, and Cadena yun po ay kasama sa three process of Philippine Revolution. And of course, it's the duty and the mandate of the state to protect the interests of its citizens and protect the institutions from infiltration of the enemies of the state. No? So,
So you're considering ACT or these groups as enemies of the state, or?
Well, ang alam niyo ang ACT, kung tingnan niyo kanilang website, talaga naman para yun sa kapakanan ng mga teachers, no? For the economic and social well-being of our teachers, ay talagang kasama natin dyan yung ACT. But alam po naman po natin, there is an active infiltration and manipulation by the enemies of the state to use this legitimate organization to further their ultimate aim, that is to overthrow through violent means yung duly constituted authority, duly elected government.
But then these groups can also be infiltrating other groups, not just ACT, di ba po?
Yes, definitely. Hindi lamang ACT. Alam natin, yung labor organizations, student organizations, yung ating mga women's organizations.
So you do the same monitoring?
Of course, definitely. That's the mandate and the duty of the state to protect its citizens and its interests against the enemies of the state.
Pero yung nakita po namin na memo, let's show the memo, it's from yung Zambales, di ba,
Yeah.
yung Zambales PNP. Ang title niya ay Inventory of All Public and Private School Teachers Who Are Members of or Aligned with ACT nga. Ayan po yung pinapakita nating memo. So, ano po ba yung memo? Ano bang bisa niyang memo na yan pag may ganyan, sir?
Well, it's a normal function of any law enforcement agency, which is an institution of the state, of the government, to collect information. In fact, that is even part of the special clause in our Data Privacy Act of 2012. We are authorized as a public authority, as a law enforcement agency, to gather information. Personal information, actually, there are exceptions to the collection of data, and that's contained in the Data Privacy Act of 2012. If you look into the IRR of the Data Privacy Act of 2012, nakikita po natin doon, talaga pong we are authorized to do that.
So like what kind of information are you authorized
Personal
to get?
information. Personal information. If you use that to ensure public safety and security, it is lawful to get that information.
Pero si PNP chief, ang sinabi niya, wala siyang sinasign na memo na directly from him. Ano po? So itong mga
Definitely.
memo na ito ay nanggaling lang sa mga
Of course, we have
provincial or district offices.
No,
Oh.
we have different directorates within the Philippine National Police who can do their functions and can issue directives within their functional jurisdiction. So, in this case, obviously, ito po ay nanggaling sa Directorate for Intelligence, which is lawful and being authorized by the law.
Pero Benji, on your part, ano bang nakikita nyo? Paano ba yung pagkuha ng information dun sa mga na-monitor nyo sa mga schools?
Yung pagkaka-relieve ng mga officials na naging dahilan ng pag-leak, nirelieve nga eh. So, ang manifestation parang may may pag-amin na may spying talagang nagaganap sa mga teachers. Kaya naalarma nga yung mga teachers natin.
So when you say spying, kasi parang sikreto yun eh. Oo,
Yung spying, alam mo yung spying yan, parang pang theater yan eh. Yung counterintelligence is a regular and continuing function of the state to look into the ranks and even outside of the government to ensure its stability and its integrity. Yung tinatawag natin counterintelligence operation, that's a normal function of any state. And that's provided by law, that's provided by our Constitution. Anong purpose po nito? To ensure the integrity and the stability of our state for the benefit of the majority of the
Pero
Filipino
even the Commission on Human Rights has expressed concern na baka nga daw to violation ng privacy eh.
Well,
And yung right to association.
Yeah, at alam mo, dapat magbasa muna sila, no? Ng Data Privacy Act. It is contained there, section I think rules 2 and rule 4, no? Nakalagay po doon, and at the same time, we are going to exercise our mandate within the bounds of the law. Kaya nga po meron tayong Data Privacy Act of 2012. And besides, when we ask any information, any personal information, even sensitive personal information from any agency in furtherance of our mandate as a law enforcement agency, meron silang data protection officer who can, validate whether that request is in accordance with the law.
Pero Ruth, hindi lang sa CHR, no? Yung nagsasabi na may violation sa Data Privacy Act, no? Nagsalita na rin ng DepEd na they will not entertain they are not duty bound, to entertain communication with the PNP. May kanina lang, meron din sa social media, galing mismo sa Commissioner ng Data
Privacy
Privacy.
Commission, oo.
Ay, mismo si dating PNP Chief General Lacson, sinasabi niya na dapat daw yung mga discharged cops and soldiers, bakit police? Kasi ang na-involve naman talaga sa crime, sabi nga ni General Lacson, yung mga discharged na police and soldiers na gun for hire,
Bakit
killer,
teachers?
o bakit teachers?
Ay, medyo hindi na po kami kailangang sabihan. There is an ongoing internal cleansing program. There's an ongoing profiling and even neutralization of those within our ranks. Dapat nga yung ACT magpapasalamat pa po sa amin kung talaga sila ay ang kapakanan ng mga guro ang kanilang pinupurso, hindi yung layunin ng enemies of the state, which is the CPP-NPA. So siguro ito ngayon ay isang challenge ko sa ACT, sa pamuno ni Benji Balbuena, no? Na you start sinabi ni Season I think in public si Mr. Balbuena should start dissociating, no? The ACT from the CPP-NPA that recently si Joma Season nagsabi siya na to oust the Duterte, that's the priority of the CPP-NPA. Probably you should start dissociating yourself from the ACT dahil sinabi mo mismo ni Joma. At the same time, you should also denounce the infiltration, manipulation, and the use of our Filipino educators in furtherance of the revolutionary struggle of the enemies of the state.
Okay, before you respond to that, Benji, tingnan natin kung ano yung response mo sa challenge ni Superintendent Durana.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break. On the record, we'll be right back. Welcome back to On the Record. We're still talking about the alleged profiling of members of the Alliance of Concerned Teachers. Okay, so Benji, babalikan kita. Yung dare sa'yo ni Superintendent Durana na kayo na daw ang mag-declare ng inyong to disassociate yourselves with allegedly with CPP-NPA.
Mahirap yung sinasabi ni Superintendent. Unang-una, wala namang ginagawa sa amin masama yung si Joma at yung Communist Party of the Philippines. Pangalawa, ay dapat siguro makita talaga ng publiko yung video na sinasabi ni General Albayalde na 30 years ago yun, yung video na yun na sinasabi daw ni Joma doon na magkasama. Kung mapapanood natin yun ng walang distortion, malinaw magkaiba yung revolutionary forces doon sa Legal Democratic Front. Hindi sinabi ni Joma na siya ay front. Sinasabi ni Joma doon, yun yung mga Legal Democratic Forces. Iba naman yung armed group. At na-enumerate niya yung binabanggit ni Superintendent na ngayon, tama naman yung sinasabi niya, hindi lang kami. Lahat Ang nakaka-alarma talaga, marami nang nagko-comment na publiko, di ko lang nabasa yung sa Commissioner ng Data Privacy. Pero patuloy pa rin Kanina yung Pangasinan, kahapon yung Bicol, tapos hindi lang sa school yung Sorsogon at Camarines Sur, pati barangay.
But CPNP chief is saying that it will continue.
Yes, because it's the duty of the state to protect its citizens and its interests from the enemies of the state. Sinabi kanina ni Benji na sinabi niya matagal na po daw yun at let's put in record na talagang hindi niya i-denounce yung terrorist organization which is the CPP-NPA, which is the enemies of the state, no? Kung if our government teachers are sharing bed with the enemies of the states, medyo delikado tayo po noon, no? So it is just right and important for the state to continuously protect its citizens and its institution from the enemies of the state out to overthrow and change our democratic institution into another institutions that alien to the culture and the history of the Philippines.
But you're working nga on the premise na posibleng na-infiltrate ang mga grupong ito.
Of course, and
So,
that's of course, if you are also a rebel organization, that's a normal strategy. You will continuously infiltrate the adversary, and in the same manner that you would want to also infiltrate the adversary of the state. So talagang normal po yan. It will not need a rocket scientist to say that the CPP-NPA, there is a continuing attempt no, to infiltrate legal institutions in our country today.
Pero ano po ba yung, coming from a police officer, kung may pupunta po sa school, like I was saying nga, na I just started as a part-time lecturer din this SEM, na kung kunwari pupunta dun sa school namin na may magtanong or yung ganitong profiling or monitoring, intel gathering or whatever you call it, ano po ba yung tamang paraan? And how can we also can the teachers protect themselves? Ano ba yung, hanggang saan ba dapat lang yung questioning or yung monitoring?
Well, ang hiningi lang nila, di ba, listahan lang ng mga miyembro ng ACT. Because sabi ko nga, magpapasalamat pa nga yung ACT sa amin because the desire is that, ang alam naman natin, activism is important in any democracy. It serves as a check and balance sa ating gobyerno. At kailangan po natin yan sa ating vibrant democracy. That's why this effort is also would also allow the state security forces to identify genuine progressives from unrepentant communist terrorists out to overthrow through violent means the duly elected government. Noong December 2018, sinabi niya ng ating ni Joe Maciso na the priority of the CPP-NPA is to oust the Duterte administration voted by 16 million Filipinos. And at the same time, pagpatuloy yung pag-atake sa mga state security forces. And those are crimes. No? Talaga pong... when you look back sa history, sabi niya, ito yung mga front organization that will further create an enabling environment for the Philippine struggle or for Philippine revolution to be successful.
Benji.
So malino naman, sinabi din ni Superintendent, activism is not a crime. So bakit may profiling? What's next after na makuha yung mga pangalan nung mga teachers natin? Yun yung malaking question. Ano ang susunod dito? Na-witness natin ang war on drugs. Na-witness natin ang tokhang. Kinuha yung mga profile, sumunod, kumatok sa bahay, tapos pinapasurrender o i-rehabilitate. So sa mga teachers, pang tingin namin dito, talagang matatakot. No? Yung iba, mahati yung raming rank. No? May parang binabawasan mo.
Yung binention kanina ni
Yung
Representative
strength, no?
Tino, it may have something to do with the midterm elections daw.
Yung kasi yung nasa form,
yeah.
merong ganong nakalagay sa memo na
yung memo
may kaugnayan
yeah.
doon din sa election. Kaya talagang mabigat pa sa bahagi namin na hindi makapag-react. At kanina nga, may harmonization sa CHR. Wala ako doon, di natin alam kung ano pa yung mga development. Ang lang, andyan naman si Superintendent, patuloy At talagang nationwide.
Kagaya po nito ng in relation to midterm election, you could just imagine the scenario kung ito yung mga Board of Election Inspector are agents of the enemies of the state. They can undermine. They can undermine the democratic electoral
But we've always
processes.
been utilizing the services of the teachers
Yes,
since,
that's why
for our elections.
that's why we need to separate the grain from the shaft, ika nga, no?
So-
At makakatulong din yan sa ACT if indeed they are an organization that really promotes the social economic well-being of the teacher, not promoting the overall goal of the enemies of the state, which is the CPP and PNDF.
Pero Ruth, ang track record talaga namin, at ever since, ibang klase. Tagapag-bandila kami ng mga interes, kagalingan, kapangalan ng mga guro. Ngayon, may mga pambansang issue, halimbawa ng train law. Kung against ba kami sa train law, kaaway na kami ng states. Kung ayaw namin ng charter change, kapag pinupuna ba namin ng inflation at dapat itaas ang sahod ng mga guro, ay maituturing kami yung enemies of the state. Kasi yun yung banggit ni Minister, demokrasya pa rin tayo. At sa larangan ng demokrasya, maglalabasan talaga yung iba't ibang opinion. At mayroon namang iba-ibang opinion, diyan naman nagmumula yung pag-unlad ng bansa. Kapag natututo tayo at tumatanggap tayo ng mga pagkukulang, lalo na kung leader ka. No? Nangyayari sa kaso ngayon ni President Duterte, nakita naman natin, halos lahat ng kritiko ay tinuring niya na rin kaaway.
Okay, we'll continue with our discussion. Meron na rin kasing statement ang Department of Education as well as the Department of Interior and Local Government. So we'll be back after another break.
official data we give to everybody, like we have press conference and so on. In personal information, that's covered by the data privacy law. Now, requests for personal information, which are not very often, hindi naman every day, will have to be evaluated by our central office, and we are going to reiterate that to our officials down the line.
Government is just being cautious here, no?
Okay.
Because the peace talks have collapsed, no, and there has been a lot of unnecessary rhetoric coming from both sides of the aisle, and because of that. And of course, the president just signed the executive order creating the National Task Force, no, to end the armed communist conflict, which requires the whole of government approach, no. So it's not simply the DILG now or the Department of National Defense with the AFP or the PNP that should be going aggressively against communist insurgency, but the entire government. So given that context, we're just trying to find out who the members are. That's simply what's being done here.
Okay, so there you have it. The DILG justifying as a part of their monitoring or intelligence gathering itong ang pagche-check sa members ng ACT, ACT Teachers Party List. And also the DepEd naman is saying the requests for data will be evaluated. So ano na, final words, what's the next move for ACT Teachers Party List?
Naging running story na nga ito, no? At dahil doon ay naghahanda, nagpaplano at pinag-aaralan, no, yung pagpa-file ng charges against PNP at matindi yung aming yung aming demand na hindi dapat pinoprofile yung mga teachers natin at nagdudulot ito, no, ng intimidation and harassment batay doon sa karanasan natin noong panahon ni Marcos at lalo na nung nagpalit-palit na yung mga presidente. Ito na yung pinakamatindi, no, na inaabot ng aming sektor. Kaya, yun na.
Possible charges of cases
yung mga lawyers namin, may grupo na nakipag-usap para pag-aralan, pagandaan yung charges na ipapile.
Okay.
Well, this is a free country. Anybody can file charges against anybody. And at the same time, it is also the duty of the state to protect itself. We can also file charges and even run after those who are filing charges who, unjustified charges. But as far as the Philippine National Police is concerned, the act itself of getting this information is justified by the law. In fact, Rule 5, Section 21, Paragraph E, the processing of personal information is necessary to respond to national emergency or to comply with the requirements of public order and safety in the prescribed law. And at the same time, fulfill, yan din po, lawful din ang pagkukuha namin, Paragraph F, fulfillment of the constitutional and statutory mandate of public authorities such as the law enforcement agency.
Okay.
And so talaga pong lawful yon if they decide to file a case against the Philippine National Police. They will not take it sitting down as well because we
Okay.
are here to protect the interests of the state in the interest of the Filipino people.
Okay, let's end our episode with those strong words from both our guests. Thank you very much to PNP spokesperson Chief Superintendent Durana and to Secretary General Benji Balbuena. And that's On the Record this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Ruth Cabal.